Joining us right here on The Splash to talk about it, we have Executive Director for West Bloomfield Parks, Kelly Hyer. Thank you again for being here, Kelly.
Morning.
I think we have slight audio issues, but we should be good. So first and foremost, we're kind of reflecting on an incident that happened at a local splash pad, and we want to talk about safety and security for our residents here. Has there been any specific steps that West Bloomfield Parks has taken to enhance safety and security protocols at our splash pad?
Well, thanks for asking about that. And yes, we've reached out to staff immediately when the situation was unfolding in Rochester Hills. And we met with all of the staff a couple times, Sunday, Monday, and did some check-ins with the staff. In addition to that, we revisited our emergency action protocols. And what that means is we do some role playing. Because when you talk about in debrief from incidents, typically experts will say your mind in an emergency situation goes to memory recall. And so it's very helpful when you do role play that as a human, your brain has something in your memory to pull from and respond with. So for our emergency action protocols with lily pad spring staff, that could be missing kids, it could be lost parents, it could be where a customer situation is escalating and we need to calm somebody down. So really, it's the whole gamut. In addition to that, we do a lot of training for situational awareness. And that's something that all of us in society could use from. And that strategy is making sure that when you park your car, you're getting out and surveying the scene, to when you're at work, that you're not on your phone, you are paying attention and seeing the different customers and monitoring if anybody is upset or maybe opposite feeling, that a parent is looking scared or they have an expression on their face that maybe they got separated from their child.
Good point. Good point. All different perspectives that we need to keep in mind so that we are alert, and staying away from the distractions is probably the biggest one. And I completely understand that. Now, how is WB Parks educating the community about safety measures and emergency procedures when visiting the splash pad?
Well, we have a great communication with West Bloomfield Police Department. So after the situation was unfolding in Rochester Hills, Chief Patton immediately directed staff to be more visible and more patrols in community spaces. And that did include lily pad springs. As to your question, it depends on the situation. I would say the more typical situation is weather. So being in an outdoor facility, we have to constantly be alerted to or pay attention to radar for these incoming storms. And as you know, that West Bloomfield, we can get some severe winds and storms, and sometimes it just comes on us very suddenly. So when you talk about safety, actually the weather comes to mind. And so we have next to our public microphone, we have several different pre-typed out messages so the staff can read right from the script, Kevin, and so that it's clear, concise, and good directions to the public in the event of emergency. In addition to our EAPs, the other thing that we have at LilyPad is two things. We have a 911 emergency call phone that is very close to the ticket booth and very accessible to public and staff. And we also have an emergency water shut-off button that could come in handy in the events that we need to quiet things down and to have people go to their cars.
Interesting. Overall, it seems like you have everything in place to make sure that we are covered, including the partnership and collaboration with the West Bloomfield Police Department. Join us right here on the Splash Live, Executive Director for the West Bloomfield Parks, Kelly Hyer, talking about safety at Lily Pad Springs, especially after the incident at Rochester Hills Pad lily pad, or I should say, excuse me, splash pad. We're just talking about different things on how we can be proactive right here in our community. Have you received any feedback from the community in regards to safety, or maybe even their reactions to what happened there and their safety here? Have you heard anything back from the community?
That is a great question, Kevin. And surprisingly, I wasn't sure how the community would react.
Right.
We had one customer reach out and wanted to discuss more, and a second customer did ask for a refund. But other than those two incidents, I personally did not hear anything. And we were very proactive in opening up the conversation with staff, and truly, surprisingly, very little feedback. However, I will say that Sunday, Father's Day, there was lower attendance than normal, I would say, on a holiday Sunday.
Okay.
But then Monday, Tuesday, perhaps with the hot weather, we saw our numbers go back up to what I would consider normal.
Okay. Okay. Well, overall, like we continue to say, it seems like we have everything that we need in place. We are in partnership with the local police department. The West Bloomfield Parks team knows the protocol. They are going over the protocol for emergencies. Also, any support systems that you do have, I know we briefly talked about talking to the staff who may have felt a certain type of way or been affected by it. What type of support systems do we have for the staff who may have been affected by it or may still be going through it?
Sure. As you saw, Oakland County put out several links to mental health support. And we have our HR manager that's always available, and she has a great relationship with staff to reach out to. But I would say the one thing that we also have available is our men's support group that is starting in July. This is a grant-funded position, or excuse me, a program. And I think this has come up in several conversations that I've seen from debriefing from the incident at Rochester Hills, is not being afraid to ask for help. And or if you see something, say something.
Absolutely.
So this is a public reminder for everyone, and this is, you can't say it enough, is that we have a mental health crisis happening across the nation. And there's so many different groups and therapists and supports out there that we have to get to a position for people to feel comfortable and not embarrassed or not afraid or don't know what to do, to reach out and get some help. And so that goes for anybody that's feeling these feelings, or perhaps that you live with somebody that you're seeing this happen, that there are, and I'm not an expert, but I know that between Henry Ford, West Bloomfield, and Oakland County, we have two great resources right here in our backyards.
And this is what we love to essentially provide for our community in case of these type of situations. We hate for the situations to happen, but to know that these resources are here, are available, are local is a great thing. Kelly, before we let you go, any last messages, words that you want to let the community know about in regards to Lily Pad Springs or any other West Bloomfield parks before we depart today?
We're here for you, and staff, again, continues to revisit our emergency action protocols. But truly, if you see something, say something. We rely on the public as well as staff to make West Bloomfield a safe community.
Yes, and we will continue to make West Bloomfield a safe community as we all do our part to do such a thing. Thank you again for your time. Kelly Hyer, Executive Director for West Bloomfield Parks, joining us on the Splash Live. We appreciate your time and information.
Thank you.